we go. I do believe we're live, but I also think you might be a little bit in the sunlight. It is behind clouds again, so it might not be a problem, but if it becomes a problem, know that I am sorry in advance. And again, thank you, dear friends, for joining me again. It's nice having you here on another day for us to consciously evolve and consider all of the things we think about. I noticed today, in my experience at least, how I went through different iterations. Ooh! Look at this! I've shown you friends big ones like these. This is a baby. It's a little baby Shongalolo. He's so confused. He's like, what the hell? What environment am I on right now? No. So today I've thought about so many things. Shongalola, yeah, Giovanna's. And as I keep thinking about all of these things, I find that I almost get anxious and then eventually exhausted. And then as soon as I get exhausted, I start dissociating maybe a little bit. And then eventually I start thinking about something else. And then it seems to have almost, at least today for me, been an experience of rinse and repeating just that fractal over and over again. And I realized at some point that I was doing it and that I was not appreciating this experience anymore. I want to show you what it looks like if I put it down. I'll swap you around. There you go, little creature. Enjoy adventures. Oh, is this the wide lens? I think this one is a little bit. So, why do we do that? Maybe that could be the question I can ask you, friends. It's like, why do we actually do that? Why do we find ourselves in these thought loops, in these experiences that we can't exactly I want to say the word control, but I don't know if it is necessarily a control problem in my mind. It's more a matter of arising from, right? Like there are all of these experiences to be had in this life, and then sometimes experiences arise that we don't necessarily want, or better yet, that we think we are above. All right, that's a big one. To feel like you have evolved, to feel a sense of regression in you not being perfect, in you not necessarily having the ability to articulate exactly how it is you feel or what it is you think. Right? Because thinking is very powerful. And that is kind of where I want to get at today with today's stream topic, is that thinking can be many things. It can be a prison. I can imprison myself based on what I think. I can change the world based on what I think. I can love or hurt people based on what I think. I can be happy or sad based on what I think. Right? And it seems to me, at the very least, that we're not exactly given tools to think properly. You can call our educational system a type of thought reform, right? Like teaching us how to think when it comes to the scientific world, potentially. To seek answers to seek answers and to not necessarily appreciate or even value, I think is a better word, right? In the same way that your hard work in school can be valued, we do not value ambiguity, the not knowing. Makes us uncomfortable. Admitting that we don't know, even more so. But we like to think we know. And it manifests in many different ways. It manifests in me, absolutely. I like to think I know, but I don't. Not really. Right? I can know what's right in front of me, and even then, I don't know if I can know that. Right? I can know what I can do next. I can know the steps it will take for me to live a good life. I do believe the steps are simplified down to love is true. That's all I have to do. But it still feels like I find myself thinking too much about it, you know? Makes me think about how I probably could benefit from setting a time aside out of the day to not think about things, to quiet and clear my thoughts. I think that's so beautifully put, Jovan, because that is, I feel, where I'm getting at. And it's interesting to me that you say it in that way, because in this thinking of this topic today, I did feel especially called to meditate more. Right? I was like, oh, I need to properly meditate a little bit more. And now you're just affirming that to me in my mind at the very least. I'm like, yeah, it's probably time to take some time and just let myself think about stuff a little bit. I'm trusting this thing is good enough quality. All right, isn't that the time when you sit down and commune with your smoking device, Jovan? Could be. Could be. All right. One like these. But I don't know. I don't know, at least not for everybody, that marijuana lets you not think things. I think it might soften the edges of your thoughts, where all of the words that it rushes through your brain might feel sharp, might hurt you when they're passing through you. And in that way, marijuana might help create like a little bit of softness, either in yourself or around the words as they flow through you. Maybe more in yourself. It's like you have a little bit more tolerance for some bullshit in that state. But you still think things. Still think things. Is the emptying ourselves of thought something that's even possible? Is the other side of the question. Jovan says, Sam, I honestly find my thinking just a lot more chaotic in those moments of communing. Yeah. It is a little bit more chaotic. It's like you have all of these things to think about, and then suddenly you can think about all of them, but in pieces. And maybe today I did mention that my feeling has been this almost like churning process of like I think about things and then I feel I've thought about them and then I think about the next thing and then I feel I've thought about them and then I think about the next thing. I feel marijuana can help me almost like reach that point of saturation of like, okay, I've thought about this thing long enough. I can think about the next thing. But it does entertain. This is true. This is also true. Entertainment is something that we value as a species. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained, they ask. What does it take to entertain me? Hmm. Passion, I think. There is something inherently entertaining about watching someone who is passionate about something just be. Just simply be. Hey, Sun King is here again. Terrific Tuesday to you too, dear friend. I have some of my own homegrown in here. Fino too. It's gassy and grape. It's great. It's very nice. What I've done to help with this mental technique is where I draw a circle in my mind and I sit in the middle. Thoughts, when they come, are dismissed by redrawing the circle as many times as I need. Do you redraw the circle with breath? It's like a kind of thing. I wonder. I wish I could partake, but unfortunately my job likes to take sample body fluids frequently. What do you do for work, Sun King? I usually don't ask this question because it's not important to me, right? It might be important to you, and if it's important to you, I would find it important because you're important to me, right? But that being said, now that your job did come up, what do you do? I think I understand if you're working with like extremely heavy machinery or you're like an airplane mechanic or something like that, where your work and the efficacy of your work could put people's lives in danger. But this is just me being like a little bit pedantic about this whole topic. Do you redraw the circle with your breath? You could do it that way. I just imagine sand and drawing a circle in it. Drawing a circle in the sand. Isn't that a kind of thought, Sam? Are visualizations of the mind also thoughts? I don't think I have a problem with thoughts, honestly. I have a problem with dissatisfaction, I think. Because I think thinking things is kind of nice. Thinking dissatisfactorily, right? Being unsatisfied with things and thinking about that, that's not nice. So maybe it's a type of judgment, maybe it's a type of expectation you have on what things are supposed to be, and then you are unsatisfied about that. Managing your expectations seems like something that can be valuable in this topic's pursuit, but I don't want to think about managing my expectations to put it in today's stream topics relevance, right? It's not important to me. It's a good paying job. I'm a supervisor technician of a contractor here in my city. I supervise a small group and I troubleshoot and maintain equipment. I thank you, Sun King, for your efforts, for the difference that you've made on our planet through your work. My favorite way to see work is that work is how you change the world, right? And in supervising a group of people, one, and maintaining equipment and troubleshooting stuff, you are quite literally changing the world, right? The world got broke, and then you made it go fix. And that made, like the iterative process of the people that can use that equipment's lives a little bit easier. Maybe they were less angry that day, they road raged less, they drove a little bit slower, they drank a little bit less alcohol, etc., etc. Thank you, dear friend. Yo, Sun King. Breath circle in the sand. That's pretty cool visual. It is nice. It's nice seeing you here too, Pojo. Sending you blessings, bro. Morning, Joe. No, it's a blessing having time with friends like this again. Giving ourselves something to think about. If we're gonna think about anything, we should think about how freaking awesome this is. How grateful we get to be to have a moment like this. I've been very aware, I can say. I've been very aware of the fact that there is change coming. I asked my dad today whether or not he'd be willing to come and help me fetch some of my things. I might be able to move some of it, but the desk and the bed, that's too big for me to fit in a car or something like that. And he's like, yeah, I'm willing to help. And then he goes, I'm still waiting for an answer on that message I sent on the 21st of October. And I told you, friends, about that message. I showed you, friends, that message even. It was ridiculously long. Like a longer, like I'm a long message kind of person, but that was too long for me even by my standards. Right? So I did skim it. I did skim it. Like I like squinty eyed kind of read through some of it. And it was like directly after getting robbed the fourth time. I think the fourth time. So it came at a moment where I was very much not in the mood for uh for thoughts, right? The same way as people have thoughts and prayers. I was getting a lot of thoughts, and maybe some prayers. There was technically mention of prayers as well. I was getting thoughts and prayers as like a text window. And it was very hard. It was kind of triggering for me to be in that space. So I didn't read it properly or reply to it. And then in asking if I can get help, I get asked about this message today. And I'm like, oh, he says, we are still waiting for an answer, right? And it's basically the answer that I have to give is that I'm going to conform to his house rules. Which one of the rules is "Ek in my eyes, ons loof die Here," or something like that. You know, me and my house, we worship God. And I've been using the terminology of God a little bit more liberally. I don't know if that's the correct use of even liberally. I've been using it a lot more, right, as a bridge, as a gap, to be like, bruh, God created me or whatever, right? I'm not saying it like that, but it is kind of this energy of like, bro, can I just exist? Can I just like for 1 second, can I just exist without you having to, patriarchy me? Please. Like I'm so tired, dude. I'm so fucking tired. I cannot. And then I speak up. I speak up. I speak my voice. I go, bro, I'm open to salvation because that was also one of the hopes in that big message is that I get salvation, right? God gaan hom so goed in jou openbaar dat jy nie andersins kan dink nie, You're gonna get so openbaar. It's like having a revelation. You're gonna get revelation so hard that you won't be able to not believe in God, he says. I'm like, okay, I'm down. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for a long time. I'm all willing to wait more, right? So that was one point, and then the other point was the almost like acknowledgement, right? Maybe it wasn't an acknowledgement as much as it was a coming to the conclusion of reaching the point in the conversation that establishes that, hey, bro, when you keep trying to save my soul, it makes me feel like you think my soul is not saved, right? And I've been trying hard, like really hard, to be the best possible person that I can be for myself, for my life, for the lives of my friends, for the lives of the people that I work with, for the lives of the people on the internet. Like I've been doing my absolute level best. I'm not perfect. Surely I fail all the time, but I'm trying. And the only feedback I'm getting from you is that, oh, you should try harder. Oh, like I said, I'm not seeing. I wanted to say I see, but I'm not seeing all of this work you've been doing. And because you're not like checking this one box that is in my mind, that I think I have checked. And since you don't have it checked, all of the stuff that you're doing is null and void. And like that is going to create, it's going to create tension. And I think just the willingness to kind of like talk about it and be like, hey, bro, I feel like it's almost like a type of maturity, honestly. Like we have to reach a point in our lives, in our own personal journey, in our own personal understanding, that some things uh, you can make progress on in having a conversation about it, and some things you don't. Some things you only drive more of a divide between you and those that you love. And when it becomes clear, when the universe shows you that one way of being drives divide and one way of being doesn't, then it becomes your choice, right? Then it doesn't matter what the circumstances is necessarily anymore, right? There's no justification for you to create a hell on earth, metaphorically speaking, because you think it justifies an eventual heaven, right? At least I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm going home with absolutely zero agendas. No agenda. I'm not going home to teach my dad something, to guide him, to save him from the belly of the beast. I'm going home to recuperate. It is selfish, absolutely. 100% selfishness why I'm going home. All right. But in that way, I'm willing to not be selfish as well. I'm willing to suck it up and find another way if I needed to. And I think there was an establishment, at least in my experience today, about that, of like, it's what I've been thinking about a lot, right? We cannot help but think a lot as human beings. I hope some of that made sense at least. Maybe it can make you feel a little bit seen in your journey as well. Thank you for your kind words, Mel. Bless you, Sun King. When I'd like to state for the record, I am pro cannabis. I used to consume in my past. I can feel that sentiment in your beingness as well, bro. Especially with you mentioning that you would like to partake, but you are being tested. Consume in my past, but again, with the job, unfortunately, I cannot. I feel you. I'm sure that as our world becomes a little bit more progressive, or maybe even as you eventually retire, there will be more than enough time for you to partake of these things and experience what it holds for you, the lessons it might bring. So there's no rush when it comes to these things as well. At least when I stop to think about how magical this experience truly is, I'm overwhelmed with amazement. I feel like a smart animal, but I am constantly awestruck and dumbfounded by this era of technology. We're talking to each other from the opposite sides of the planet through magic little mirrors. Look at this. I can hold on to this. And then suddenly I can be like, oh yeah, this is me. I'm looking at myself now. It is kind of surreal. Mirrors has definitely done something to us as well. I definitely do go through a lot of thinking, right? Insecurity is a type of thought. It's a type of thought. I don't know again if it's a helpful thought. And again, it's one of those thoughts that I don't know if we can always control. We might be able to give ourselves different things to think about, but insecurities arise so quickly and so almost like aggressively. It's like, oh, now this thing exists in my mind. Fuck. Can you leave, please? I was doing fine without you like just 5 seconds ago. Oh, love is true. I think you're smart, Pojo. I agree, Joe. I find it pretty incredible that I can talk to all of you. I'm sort of proud of having acquaintances such as you are. That's nice, bro. We're proud to have people like you here too. There's not many. There's not many that are willing to do something like this. It is definitely a little bit different, but I believe it is us fighting against what technology has done to us, all right? Which can be a little bit insular. Can feel like you are very much you and your little mirror and your scrolly, and it's just like oh, this thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing. And then by the time you're down to the fifth next thing, you don't even know what the five things were before you came here, right? And us being here gives us the opportunity to, instead of just needing this information from the system ceaselessly, this dopamine hit, like re-upping ourselves, like waiting for the next thing that might make us laugh a little bit harder, might make us feel interested a little bit more. All right, we're fighting that urge, and I'm not saying that it's not okay to ever do that. Right, I feel like there is some sort of exploration bug that is being hacked in our brains, sure, but there is still an exploration happening there. We are just teaching ourselves. I feel almost like a type of school, almost like a type of conscious evolution. How to become with friends, really flush out the things that we're thinking about, flush out our own thoughts, right? And it might be me talking a lot, I admit, but you friends, speak up as well in chat. Might not have a lot of characters, but as I'm saying these things, you think for yourself, right? I try to never say things like, this is what you're supposed to believe, and if you don't believe it, then bad things gonna happen. I at least think, I believe, I trust that I've never said some bullshit like that, because that's not how this is, right? Every single one of our lives is unique to our own. Like the lessons that we're going to learn, the skills we're going to have to develop, the way we're going to have to integrate into our society, into our family lives, into our relationships with, potential partners, etc. Like there's so much uniqueness to this individual life experience, and yet at the same time, I can be a me and you can be a you, and I can tell you stories about this me that I've been, and you can feel, oh, I've been through something similar. You can think about how you've been through something similar. And in that way, we do relate to one another. And that is technically what the internet is, right? At least that's what it's become. It's just become sensationalized, right? And that is the word. Is sensationalism a bad thing? So it's a hot take. Hey, Google, is sensationalism a bad thing? The style of news reporting. Ah, yeah, not exact. I wasn't talking about the news reporting, but it could be. It could be. Doesn't even have to be bad, right? It's just a lot. It's like overstimulating us. And there's almost, and I don't know if I want to share stuff like this sometimes because it's kind of embarrassing. But in me, there's almost this energy of rushing. Like I'm trying to get somewhere when I'm in that scrolling kind of mindset. And then there's also the aspect of it almost like feeling like it's soul sucking, right? You've probably experienced that as well, where you're like, oh, I need to do something else, or I have this movie that I paused, or this voice note that I was gonna send, or this dishes that I was gonna wash, and I'm like stuck here. But maybe I won't be stuck in like 1 second. And you are. You can technically break from that being stuckness, but you don't. All right. And I think about that. I really don't appreciate that, honestly. It kind of makes me feel like I'm being manipulated. Or maybe not being manipulated, but letting myself be enthralled. That sounds a little bit better. Almost like watching a musician, watching a watching a hypnotist. I think is a better term, right? Like you can see the hypnotist hold up the watch and start swinging it, and you're like following the watch with your eyes, like you're doing that. You know what you're doing, kind of, but do you? What you do? What you don't? And it's happening to all of us, probably collectively. There's very few people that it's not happening to right now. The concentration is definitely towards that kind of experience. How are we going to bring ourselves back to a sense of normalcy? Normalcy? I think like this, just by like sitting down and having a conversation properly about it. Podcasts have become a little bit more popular, so there is that aspect of it. There definitely is this desire to be a part of and listen to proper conversation. Just seeing people's perspective. Seeing. Seeing and letting ourselves think about what we just saw. Right, that seems to be the, the formula right now for us as a species. Maybe it is a type of learning. Maybe we're taking the back seat and just like being students, collectively absorbing the internet. And there is so much content that we have to, all of us collectively, watch parts of it. It's kind of surreal. I agree, Joe. Bless. I must get salvation. This is the same denomination of folks that lit the dude on fire for daring to insulate that the universe might not center around us, and our ability to accept that has not gotten any better. Step with caution into the snake pit. I will. I am going to step into the snake pit like a Buddhist monk. That's my intention, at least. Part of me might even find my hair shaved before I leave there, just for the shock value. You know, just to like Buddhist monk myself even harder. But it would be a matter of I'm going to just breathe. I'm gonna breathe so much. I think I got better at mindfulness this year. I had to. Oh goodness, I would have been more gray than I am. I grew, I think, like a total of 3 gray hairs this year. Khazami. I would have had more if not for mindfulness, if not for just taking a breath. And I think I will be getting better at it. I am really good at feeling stable in my own opinions, at least. And I think that's almost the most important part right now. Is that Krellen Dickerson? Hey, Melt. I love you. I love you too, friend. Can't remember if I've seen or when the last time it was that I saw your name. But I appreciate your intention. I'm sorry. I think I disconnected for a second. We talked about stickers. Oh, let me see. You showed me your beautiful digital stickers. I did. I try and show a lot of people. I make them physical as well. I just changed it. These are the digital stickers that I have that got turned into physical pieces. Stop looking at my face, bro. Thank you. Hey, Mojo is here too. Hey, Mojo. Yeah, thank you, Kralin. Thank you for joining us, bro. It's so nice having you here. Thank you for being stoked about the work that I share. Thank you for you being here. If you're new here right now, like at all, and this is the first time you're seeing my face, get this. You can see it again. I live stream every single day. So do subscribe, and then I'll see you friends again on the other side. They're so cool, brother. Thank you. You're flattering me. You're gonna make me blush. You're gonna make me blush. Part of me wants to show the friends now as well. It's like, oh yeah. So I just showed you the physical pieces, right? These are the sticker made. The sticker made of my little pieces of art. And then if I had to show you what my work looks like, this is what it looks like before I turn them into stickers. And then after they become stickers, they look something like this. I don't know if it might not be, I don't know if my signal is going to be very good. Oh, realizing that my quality has probably been so poor, like bad. It hasn't been. You friends, just don't say anything because you know I'm going to skizz out about it. Thank you. Thank you. There are the stickers. These are some of the new ones that I've made. These are the older ones. So that one. I love this. Thank you, Kralin, for encouraging me to share this stuff, bro. It really makes me stoked to have people that love my work. Where did we meet at Earth Dons? Like, I'm trying to place you, dude. I'm trying to place you. Frog stickers? Maybe. I'm gonna see where I missed my comments. No. Just changed it. Bless again. We talked about stickers. Jopo. Yeah. Reddit. Reddit? We met on Reddit? Of all places? Were you here since the art band days in that case? Like in year one of okay. Full circle. Yeah. I have become an artist in the meanwhile. Melt, audio cuts out, maybe refresh. Thank you for the suggestion, Sun King. A little bit better. I appreciate you friends for helping me. I'm sure that these platforms will get better with time. But right now we do sometimes face some challenges. There are wood destroying beetles flying above my head and it's distracting me. One of the beetles, when I get in the hole, the other beetle is already occupying and it's just floating there. Swipey. My tisms are being... Is the stream glitchy for anyone else? Audio cuts out, maybe refresh. Better. Thank you. I hope that is better now. It should be. I think it is because I'm streaming throughout the thickness of the entire house, so the Wi-Fi signals might have a little bit of a hard time reaching us. So I'm sorry. Not get distracted. All better. Perfect. I'm going to partake of another Dynavap. Hey, Connor's here too. Hey, Connor. What's with you, bro? Maybe I'll finish the vertical stream and set up a horizontal one. Part of me feels cold to do that now. Tuners, are you gonna join us on the next one? It's nice to have you here. It's nice to have all of you friends. If you're not subscribed, again, do hit the subscribe button. It makes a difference, I promise. And I'll see you soon. I'm gonna flip this one, on its side, and then I'll be here again. Refreshed. I love you, friends. See you soon.